Jesus, talking about my Jesus. Jesus is the only one.
Now, on the women's side, which I've been promising for so long, how are women affected? Now, even though I said statistically of all the people who are addicted to pornography, only 20% of those people addicted to pornography are women, 80% are more men. But let's talk about those 20%. Of the 20%, it is believed that 70% of women involved in pornography are survivors of incest or child sexual abuse. 1 out of every 6 women, including Christians, struggles with an addiction to pornography. More than 80% of women who have this addiction take it offline. Women, far more than men, are more likely to act out their behaviors in real life, such as multiple partners, casual sex, or affairs. Now, these are signs, for example, if you're not sure, those of you who are watching, like I did with the men, how do I know if I'm addicted? Your behavior tells you whether or not you're addicted. If you can't stop thinking about it, if you're not addicted yet, you're on your way, because remember when I gave you the 4 steps, can't stop thinking about it is step 2. Can't stop doing it. Now, doing it what? Self-gratification, sex, whatever it is. The act itself of fulfilling the pleasure senses of the body, whether you're doing it to yourself or with another person, the whole thing is once you're starting to get addicted and like that feeling that you're giving yourself or the feeling sex has, that repeated act is what makes you unable to stop thinking about it. Let's continue on. 78% now of a study of 5,750 respondents, 78% said they were addicted to pornography. 57% of those people said they'd never told anyone about their addiction. That's over half. Remember in the very first episode I said the addiction's main strength is you not telling anybody that you're dealing with it. Just like any other drug, if you hide the addiction grows stronger, not weaker. By telling someone else can pray for you, support groups, prayer partners. You can have all kinds of spiritual help once you tell somebody, but if you stay silent and tell no one, the addiction gets stronger. 51% said they view pornography daily. 45% were 11 to 15-year-olds when they first viewed pornography. And 72% of this group considered themselves to be religious. So people think, well, when you become a Christian, why are you doing that? When you become a Christian, you're changing your focus. You're trying to live your life for the Lord. That doesn't tell the devil, oh, I'm going to stop messing with him. No, the devil's going to throw more stuff at you, more temptation. Think about television today versus television 20 years ago. 20 years ago, if 2 people slept in the same bed was considered, whoa, look what they're doing. They slept in bunk beds. Now, each episode actually has a joke. I'm not going to name the show, but a few of the shows actually have a joke that who's going to get naked this season first. So this is regular television, not cable, not pay TV. Regular television is getting closer and closer to the actual soft porn or cable shows which have no censorship. In another study in 2000, men prefer visual erotica twice as much as women. That's why I said men are more visual. But women favor chat rooms twice as much as men. So remember I said women are addicted to the same things as men, but there is an addiction. Women are more stimulated by audio, hearing. That's why the chat rooms are apart, because the chat rooms, you see them on television all the time. Hi, call Debbie, call Janie. You got this nice soft voice talking to this person, and if you're addicted or you want to hear a sexy voice, you call that 900 number, and somebody's making millions of dollars, or your dollars, because you're sitting there listening to heavy breathing for 3 hours, paying $10 an hour, or whatever, a minute, or what it is per minute, whatever it is. But that's what people, according to the numbers I just gave you at the beginning of the show, that's what people who are addicted are listening to. Women had a slightly lower rate of sexually compulsive internet behavior, and 70% keep their habit a secret. It is also believed, like I said earlier, the 70% of women who are involved in pornography were survivors, like I said, of incest or sexual abuse. Now, a few other ones about women at work. 13% of women admit to accessing pornography at work. 70% of women keep their cyber activities a secret. 17% of all women struggle with pornography addiction. Now that's not 70% of the addiction. This one is 70% of all women. Now 17% is not a lot yet, but with the way society is going of trying to, like, the most recent, as of the time of this taping, iPods, which came out from music, enjoy your music, download your music. And well, now iPod has come up with a way now to download visual. Now, what do you think our young people are downloading now? You're thinking they're sitting there listening to the music and they've downloaded a website onto the iPod. So technology is expanding to allow internet to come into the small devices that we have. So nothing's really safe. So that means we as parents have to stay in touch with what our young people are watching. Of course, once they go out on their own and they want to explore that way, we just have to pray for them. But when they're in your household, you have to be more than just, what do you listen to? Well, let me hear that. Let me make sure that's what you're listening to, because sometimes it's not what you think. Continuing on, women favor chat rooms twice as more than men, like I said before. 1 of 3 visitors to all adult websites are women. And then finally, 9.4 million women access adult websites each month. So see, all the other, like I said, all the other episodes of this show, I've been telling you about all the problems with men. But women are dealing with it too, and there have been places when I've spoken about my books about the addiction, where a woman has said, well, don't leave the women out, because, I've had some struggles in that area too, because remember, a sexually oriented film is not geared just at the man, but even though men respond visually more than women, both people can be affected, indirectly or directly. So it's not just located to one sex. Sexual addiction is a way that some people medicate their feelings or cope with stresses to the degree that their sexual behavior becomes a major coping mechanism for the stresses in their life, just like any other drug. When people go into marijuana, like I said, or crack, or alcohol, smoking, all the different vices that we have, usually there's a absence or a need in the body that causes the person to go towards that, whatever becomes an addiction. It's not like the body immediately craves the addiction. It's a void that's trying to be filled, and if sex is being chosen, or cigarettes, or marijuana, or crack is chosen to answer that emptiness. Once that emptiness is answered, the body says, well, hey, that felt good. So now every time you feel that emptiness, whatever vice or drug answered that emptiness before, now becomes a craving for the body to fulfill.
Jesus, talking about my Jesus. Jesus is the only one. Never gonna have to worry. Never gonna have to fear.